What is up everyone, and welcome to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Analysis video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over why I think Kazuya is very overrated. I've been playing Kazuya for about a month now, pretty much only playing Kazuya, going through all of his meta. I still have a matchup chart video on the way, I think. I've gotten through about 3/4 of it because I haven't been able to get experience against every single character. I'll be done with that in about a week or so. But I've been seeing a lot of comments, especially in my recent videos of me posting like random clips, people saying like, oh, is Kazuya going to be the next Bayonetta? Is Kazuya broken? Nerf Kazuya. And I wanted to kind of make a video just talking about my thoughts on the character and why I really don't think he's as good as people are saying. So I'm going to be showing off in this video, I'm going to be showing two sets. One set will be Riddles versus Peanut, and another set will be Axiom XL versus Mars. Both of these sets Kazuya wins, and I want to show these sets specifically because I think Kazuya is good. I'm not going to make this video saying, oh, he's bad or whatever, right? I don't think he needs any buffs. I mean, I would love for him to have buffs, obviously, but I don't think he needs any buffs, and I don't think he needs any nerfs. I think he's, currently, I would say I would place him right, maybe below, he's definitely a high tier. I don't think he's, like I said, I don't think he's bad, but anybody putting him in their top 10, I think it's, or even top 15, is definitely overrating the character a lot, because he has lots of struggles that I don't think people have really noticed yet. So I wanted to show these two sets of Kazuya winning because I want to go over his strengths first. Obviously, if you've played any Kazuya at all, or even if you just watched any of his sets, you'll know that Kazuya is a very bait and punish type character, because whenever Kazuya has to approach is when he struggles. So a lot of times when you watch Riddles or even Axiom XL, I'm specifically going to be talking about Riddles for this first part, and I'll show the Riddles Peanut set on screen. But whenever a character like Mac, or Little Mac, who has to approach, you're going to want to sit under like stages like Small Battlefield or PS2, where you're going to have two side platforms. You're going to usually be either on the edge of one of the side platforms or under it. That way you have an escape option to a platform, and you're pretty much going to be guarded from above, which means you're just going to be sitting there waiting for bait and punishes, right? If your opponent lands an unsafe aerial on shield, you can start your 0 to death combos, right? Because obviously, as we all know, Kazuya has really good 0 to death combos, chains that can hit you for certain percents off stage. Anytime you're going to be landing unsafely on Kazuya or in front of Kazuya, you're going to be getting punished pretty hard. So when your opponent realizes this, they're going to be able to play around that, which is another one of Kazuya's weaknesses right now, is matchup and experience. Or this is actually worse as a strength right now, but will eventually be a weakness. Kazuya wins a lot of games and wins a lot of matchups and sets that you might see on YouTube, because a lot of people still don't really know how to punish Kazuya. A lot of people get scared of Kazuya and just shield, which is the worst thing you can do, because a lot of Kazuya's moves are plus on shield, and as we know, Electric Wing God Fist is plus on shield, knocks you out of your shield, and I think at certain percents on certain characters can actually shield poke. If you drop your shield for even a frame, you're going to get the electric effect, which can lead into an easy kill or a kill confirm, right? So a lot of times people just don't understand that you can literally just jump. If you jump instead of shield, Kazuya can't punish you a lot of times. For certain characters like Jigglypuff, basically any, or Jigglypuff, Kirby, Pikachu, Pichu, any character that's small, a lot of times Electric Wing God Fist just doesn't hit them if they jump away, or if they crouch, or even if they're in a certain type of moves, if they're landing, then it just won't hit them because it hits above. So certain characters are just invalidate Electric Wing God Fist, which is Kazuya's main neutral tool basically. Other than like Nair and forward air, you really have no approach options other than Electric Wing God Fist. And that is one thing that works in his favor but also works against him. Because since Electric Wing God Fist is your only approach option, you're just going to be sitting there fishing for it. Eventually your opponent, if you're not 100% accurate with, your opponent is going to begin to read you and punish you for that. Which is like what I was saying earlier about how over time, matchup experience against Kazuya is going to make him go lower and lower on the tier list, and then people are going to be like, okay, well, I don't think he's as good as he is because this character beats him, or this character can invalidate this move, blah blah blah. So certain characters like I actually really don't like fighting Mac with Kazuya. It's like a very volatile matchup because obviously you can do certain, like you can throw him off stage, you can edge guard him really easily, you have the command grab, you have all sorts of things that can kill Mac really early, but then again, Mac approaches you really quickly on the ground. So against, in this set, when you see Riddles versus Peanut, you'll probably see a lot of times that it's not like a crazy set where like Riddles is steamrolling Little Mac, right? So if you look purely at the tiers of where people are rating this character, right? So overall, you could say what one Peanut does not have matchup experience against Kazuya. True. Another thing is that Kazuya is apparently, for all of these tier lists that people are saying, he's very top tier, right? Top 10 in some tier lists, which I think is ridiculous. And Little Mac is usually regarded as one of, if not the worst character in the game. So why is this set so close? First of all, I don't think like Kazuya completely destroys Little Mac. I think it might be +1 in Kazuya's favor, but I don't think Little Mac it's like an impossible matchup for Little Mac to win in, and unlike certain other matchups in the game, right? So I think Little Mac actually does fine, especially with someone like Peanut, which is probably, if not the best Little Mac player. So someone like that against an inexperienced Kazuya, since Kazuya just came out, I don't think will struggle that much. There's lots of things that he could do. You can rush in, you can pressure Kazuya's shield, because Kazuya doesn't have great out of shield options. The only out of shield option he has is up B, and that comes out on frame 14. So a lot of times, especially with Mac, some forward smash on shield is always going to be safe on shield, which is kind of ridiculous, which means a lot of times, and especially with Kazuya's low jump squat, you're just going to be stuck on the ground. For example, a matchup that I find completely impossible for Kazuya, -2, even -3 for Kazuya, is Pyra Mithra, and specifically Mithra. Mithra is fast, throws out aerials, Nair is has many hitboxes and lasts a very long time, which means that it can be unpunishable on shield because you can drift away while you're in it. If you drop shield for a second, you're going to be hit, and since you're heavy, you're going to be getting comboed, and you basically have no advantage against this character. Like, there was a time I was playing against a Pyramithra on Elite Smash, and obviously most Pyramithras the normal formula against them is that you hit them, they hit you until you're around like 60-70%, and then they switch to Pyra and they try to fish for kills, like down air confirms or whatever, or just throwing out big moves that Pyra has. And then after I beat him twice, he just realized that he could just switch to Mithra and stay Mithra the whole game, and there was almost nothing I could do. While it is online and it is harder to adapt, I still feel like that matchup was probably the hardest, like even harder than a matchup like Pikachu. I felt like that was just an insane matchup that was like undoable for Kazuya, and I feel like continuing to play Kazuya over and over throughout all of these like Elite Smash battles, while I know it's off online, I also try to practice offline too against CPUs sometimes, just to like try out different matchups to see what kind of characters invalidate Kazuya, or certain things that Kazuya can do against certain characters to gimp them, or kind of like bait and punish certain characters. But like, as I continue to play Kazuya, I realize more and more that there's so many matchups that Kazuya just gets absolutely destroyed in for no reason, and matchups that he should, based on tier placings or what people have been placing him on the tier list, he should absolutely win them. For example, Kazuya Puff, I don't like this matchup at all. Puff, I still think, is a very underrated character. I think Puff is better than people think. Whether you guys believe that or not, Jigglypuff's placing on the tier list is a lot lower than what Kazuya is supposed to be. However, I don't think the matchup is in Kazuya's favor, or if it is, it's only +1. Similar to Little Mac, Kazuya can get extremely edge guarded by Puff. A lot of times, some of your kill confirms, and this is something I didn't talk about yet, but characters with multiple jumps like Banjo, Meta Knight, Jigglypuff, etc., they can get out of certain combos by just jumping after you hit them with the Electric Wind God Fist. For example, if any of these characters have a jump, then your Electric Wind God Fist is not going to confirm into an up smash at any percent. It just won't work. That's because they're, first of all, whether they're floaty like Puff, whether you hit them at 2%, your electric Nair chains won't work. So certain stuff just doesn't work on these characters, and then you can get counter edge guarded really easily. So you just have to play like really honest against these characters. And since Kazuya does not have great ground speed, doesn't have great air speed, he doesn't have a good jump, he's just gonna kind of stay stagnant. And since he doesn't really have against an optimal Puff player, I don't think that Kazuya can only do certain things. Obviously, electric up B will kill very early, so you still do have that advantage, which is why I think it's either +1, but it really could be even. Like, I just don't think Kazuya has the means to actively counter a lot of things. Like, Young Link is an impossible matchup. I hate it. Banjo, really, really hard. Samus, really, really hard. All of these characters, whether they be projectile characters, fast characters like Greninja, really hard to hit. Greninja's crouch, and you can't hit Greninja's dash attack with electric, which means he has a free neutral approach to it that you can't punish because he can shield out of it faster than you can up B out of shield. Characters like Joker are impossible to approach just because of how fast Joker's neutral is. Characters like Sheik, you'll get comboed for 1,000,000,000%. And crouch, which is already an underutilized mechanic in this game, if it continues to be more and more utilized, you just will not be able to hit characters with electric and neutral, which means Kazuya's neutral as a whole is just going to crumble. So as I continue to play more and more matchups, as I continue to play Kazuya more and more, I feel like he's a very good character in certain situations, which is what I've kind of been saying this for a long time, that he just has so many matchups that he just, like, it just should not be for a character that is supposedly top 10. There's no way a top 10 character could have this many losing matchups, right? There has to be some sort of like imbalance. I don't know if maybe people just see certain things like Riddle Zero to Death on Twitter, or like and I'm sure even like if you go ask Riddles, I've watched his stream a few times and been in the chat, but even if you go ask him, he'll say too that some matchups just feel impossible with Kazuya, and he's 10 times as good as I am with Kazuya, right? So if he's saying that, then I feel like it gets a little bit more validity against certain characters, like even characters like K. Rool, like heavies should be Kazuya combo food, but characters like K. Rool that just projectile spam have a lot of super armor and can stop certain, like I think at the beginning, if you try to down air, obviously you can't because the helicopter on K. Rool's up B has invulnerability, pretty much covers from above, as long as if your spike move doesn't have like really good like, I think it has to be like the hitbox has to be completely below your character to actually hit certain characters. Then it just doesn't hit K. Rool. So like K. Rool can kind of win against Kazuya if you're playing against a really good K. Rool. So you have to be playing, like, you basically just have to camp. And Kazuya's, unfortunately, his counter or his reflector, which a lot of people said really good, obviously has the best reflect rate in the game. I think it's times 2.4. So it's like, it's really good as a reflector, but unfortunately it's not really viable in actual competitive play. I mean, it is viable, but it's very hard to use accurately because it takes so long to come out. You basically have to read your opponent shooting a projectile, and if you misread it against certain fast projectiles like Young Link Arrow, Young Link Boomerang, Pikachu Thunder Jolt, certain stuff like that is just impossible. And even if you do read it, you're just gonna get spammed instantly. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna hit one arrow back and it's gonna get nullified by 10 more arrows that Young Link is shooting, or since usually Pika's follow up with T-Jolt, you're just going to reflect the T-Jolt and get punished for it, right? Because it's going to put you in lag, and there isn't really any plus side to reflecting a T-Jolt other than you not getting hit by it, but then you get put in disadvantage, or maybe there's another T-Jolt following right behind that you get hit by, right? So like against projectiles, even though he does have a reflector, he still struggles a lot, and since he can't jump, he can't really jump over them well, and his crouch dash, while good, is a very good approaching option. It doesn't go through as many projectiles as you want, right? It goes through Young Link's arrow, but you have to time it correctly. It doesn't go through Young Link's boomerang, doesn't go through T-Jolt, doesn't go through Samus charge shot, projectiles like that, it just doesn't go through. So if the projectile covers more than like, if it covers less than, if it covers like for example, Shoryuken, or not Shoryuken, Ryu's Focus Blast, if it goes under that, if it goes like, if a projectile can hit the ground under that, then it's not going to be able to be crouch dash under, which means that Kazuya is just going to be sitting on the other side, can't approach, has to wait. If your opponent doesn't approach, or if your opponent's using a zoner, or if your opponent's using a sword character, or if your opponent's using a small character, you just lose. And all of these reasons combined is why I think Kazuya is just overrated right now. Like, people just don't understand how hard Kazuya is to actually play optimally, and how hard Kazuya actually has to try to win when he's being played optimally. And there's certain matchups that just feel impossible for Kazuya right now. Unless something else is like discovered with Kazuya, or like his neutral progresses in a way where he can actively stuff out certain things like projectile spamming. Sword characters are a big problem for Kazuya because he just doesn't have the range to actually fight sword characters approaching them. Certain bait and punishes are impossible, especially online. To punish certain characters, you can't just parry. He's just going to keep spamming sword attacks, and since it's hard to parry online, there isn't really anything else you could do against that. So, but I want to see your guys' thoughts, because this is a bit longer video than I normally do. I just wanted to talk because I haven't been able to really get out my thoughts about Kazuya since it's been about a month now. But I just wanted to see what you guys' opinions are. I know a lot of you guys still think that Kazuya is really good, and I encourage you, if you guys still think he's good, keep saying that he's good. I want to see just how far Kazuya can progress. I still I think I'm going to keep him as a secondary because I do think he's a very good counterpick character. Against certain characters, he just is really good. For example, in this Axiom versus Mars set, you probably saw that Mars lost. If you spoiler alert, if you didn't know, Mars loses the set. But I don't think that Kazuya actually actively gets like destroyed by Zero Suit like I think a lot of characters do. I think Kazuya has since Zero Suit has to be forced kind of to approach, kind of. A lot of Zare stuff, projectiles, has fast aerials, but a lot of the stuff is predictable, and you can kind of read Zero Suit in a way that you can actively get your punish combos off, you can get your kill confirms, and it's like she's like a mid-weight character, so you can actually and she's not floaty, which is another good thing. For top tiers that are floaty, you can't get all the kill confirms off of them, but for somebody like Zero Suit Samus, you actively can. So I want to see you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. If you didn't, make sure to tell me why. But if you guys want any more types of content, make sure to stick around. I'll be putting out more Kazuya content in the coming weeks. But without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.